welcome to the Swing'it Winget podcast, Cherlyn.
Thank you.
Come swing it with Winget.
Thank
Got
you.
kind of I think all my guests are special, but you're just as special as, anybody. And I wanted to have you in for a lot of different reasons because I've gotten to know you through Benloch, and Benloch Ranch is the name of a great subdivision in Heber, right outside of Park City. It might as well be Park City, the backside of Deer Valley and stuff. And so it was interesting because I have so this is Cherlyn, okay? And she is a mother of two boys. Now, one of them's third grade, right?
Just started third grade today.
And he is, let's see, you've got, been married to Jansen, right?
Yep.
That guy is a stud.
He is.
And you've got, let's see, how, is he 8 years old?
He's
8 years old?
He'll be 9 on September 1st, so.
Okay. And then you have another kid named Canyon. And I stumbled on that name because he's one of we'll talk about it later, but he was inspired of what I think is probably the best floor plan in Benloch, but I'm a little biased that way.
Same.
And, essentially I want to just kind of welcome you to the podcast. I know it's kind of out of your comfort zone like most people. Have you been on a podcast before?
Nope. This is my first podcast.
I know. You're kind of stepping out of the comfort zone.
Yes.
And this has been like my life the last year, like trying tons of new things. And it gives you a little bit of a different feeling, you know what I mean? It's uncomfortable, even though we're comfortable with people.
Yeah.
It's just, so I'm proud of you. I'm excited for you. I've gotten to know you well through working with you up in Benloch. And, I've gotten to know your husband a little bit. And I know we have a lot of similar passions and hobbies and baseball and real estate and different things. So, I thought maybe it would be good to really just introduce our listeners to, Cherlyn, and maybe tell us a little bit about you. I know you grew up in a small town, and there's a lot of awesome things that can come from that. And was it Duchesne?
Yep. Duchesne.
Oh, Duchesne. Nice.
That's what a lot of people call it. But yeah, grew up there, super small town, 40 whopping kids in my graduating class.
Cow.
So it was fun. Good small town values, and I love being from Duchesne.
Yeah. How far is Duchesne from here?
You're about 2 hours.
2 hours. And so what's the biggest city near there? I'm trying to.
Heber or Vernal.
Okay.
Yeah,
so
right between the two.
That's a pretty good mix there.
Yeah.
And your dad is like one of your heroes, right?
He is. He's the best.
And his name is Brad, right?
Yeah.
I've never met a Brad I didn't like.
Exactly.
And he's how old is he now? Like 70?
He just turned 70. Yep. We just had him big party.
I follow you on Instagram and have gotten to know, a little bit about you and your family, but he seems like he's like in his 40s. He's riding horses and working like crazy.
Yep, he is. He can outwork the best of them still.
Oh my gosh. So when you talk about small town values, like specifically, what values do you feel like you learned from your parents in the town you were raised that have served you so well?
Just to work hard, not complain. You
Yeah.
know, just put your shoulder to the wheel, I guess they say, and you work hard and you don't complain. And, my dad's huge on, looking a man in the eye, giving him a handshake, and that's his word. And that's just how I was raised. So.
And it's, it's interesting you say that because we'll talk more about this and kind of what my observations have been in dealing with you and working together that, I think your parents did a good job in that regard because I don't know that I've met another real estate colleague that works as hard and as efficiently as you do.
Thank you.
I mean, you're always working, right? Or it seems that way, even though I know you take vacations and you love Disney, right?
Yes. My first time at Disney.
Oh, really? How was that?
It was fun. I wasn't sure if I'd like it, but it was fun. Fun.
I think one of my very first times at Disney was my wife and her family booked a 7-day trip at Disney. And, like a lot of people, they pay for something and it's not cheap. They want to get their money's worth, right?
So sun up, sun down.
Literally, and the kids, they can run all day, every day. I don't know where they get the energy. And literally, I'm after day 4 or 3, I was done.
It's a lot.
And I started to feel like the bad guy because I'm like, I need a day at the spa, or I want to take a pool day. And anyway, I learned, and they learned that more than 3 days for me personally is kind of rough. But
yeah.
Well, let's see. So when did you move from Duchesne?
I graduated early, and I was actually going to go into accounting. And then decided I wanted to go to hair school. My grandma did hair for many years, 50 years. I can't remember exactly. And my grandma was a huge role model to me as well, my dad's mom. And so I wanted to go to hair school. So I went to Benloch Academy, which is a funny story. Also, Bonnie Losi owns it. And my grandma apprenticed Bonnie. So that's how Bonnie got her license, was through my grandma.
How cool is that?
It was kind of full circle that I was there going to school. So.
And did you know that when you signed up there? It was kind of like, Bonnie. How important relationships are, right?
For sure.
Influenced your decision. Wow. And what year was that? Was that like 2015, 2006. Oh, wow. Okay.
Yeah.
And so,
aging myself here.
Where is that school located?
It's over in Raintree in Provo.
Okay.
Like where pizza factory is down in there.
And they're still cranking?
No. Another hair school came in, and then now I don't think there's anything going on in there. But
so you spent, a couple of years there learning?
Yep. I started with night school and then eventually went over to full time, and then,
Okay. Wow. And so you practiced that for how long?
12 years.
No kidding.
Yeah.
Wow. And did you live in Happy Valley the whole time?
So no, after I graduated, I moved back to Duchesne for a couple years.
Why? Like, that's awesome. Like, you were probably the only hairstylist in town.
Yeah, I know. Yeah. I moved back for a boy, and then that didn't work out.
Okay.
So then went back to Jansen.
Well, so you met, let's see, how did you and Jansen meet?
Yeah, we actually met when I was in hair school. So one of my best friends from hair school, funny story, her high school friend was dating Jansen. That's how I knew of him.
Okay.
And then they broke up, and then me and Jansen were at Harrio's, which is now Park City.
Oh, yeah, I remember Harrio's. I've been there before.
And we met, and so we dated briefly, and then we didn't date for I moved back to Duchesne with my boyfriend, but we had a mutual friend who told Jansen when me and my ex had broke up, and Jansen called me the next day, and we've been together ever since. So
no kidding. So how long was that ago? Like, you got married 9 years ago or something?
Yep. Well, it'll be 10 years in March. So we have been together since I was 21.
Wow.
Back together. Yeah.
Well, I've been impressed with Jance because, one, he's a baseball fanatic, right? Mm-hmm. Did he play some ball back in the day or what?
Yep. He was in the Little League World Series with Cooperstown.
Wow.
A couple times. Little League World Series Hall of Fame. Yeah. So he was big, and then kind of went girl crazy in high school and put baseball on the back burner. But
loves the sport, and he's like 6'3" and he's ripped tall. And I stumbled across he's like a model or a talent with a
yeah, he used to do that.
How cool is that?
Yes, he's my little Greek god.
There you go. Okay. And now he's into the solar business, right?
Yep.
And how's that going?
Good. Yeah, he travels, gone half the month.
Okay, killing it and making his path there, huh?
Yeah.
Well, you guys have a great relationship and cute little kids, and you're right in the thick of it. And I've got 4 kids, and I've kind of, I see you guys raising your boys, similar, because my first 2 were boys, and they were pretty close in age, about 3 years apart, right?
Yep.
And so it's been kind of fun to look back, and it's weird because you look at my life and then I look at other people's lives like you guys, and it's like, man, what would I have done different? And you guys you're making it happen. How do you find the balance between, is there such a thing in balance? Because I actually I saw a TikTok from Jimmy Rex the other day, and it kind of struck me. It said, because part of my podcast is, learning how to create wealth through real estate, but while maintaining life's balance, right? Yeah. And I think we all strive to do that. But the question is, and this is what Jimmy posed, how many people that really accomplish incredible things that everyone looks up to and paves the way really had balance. They become almost obsessed and tunnel vision on accomplishing that amazing thing.
Yeah.
And so that's the hard part. Is how do you feel about that?
Yeah, I can definitely get tunnel vision for sure. When I set my mind to something, I have to get it done. But I think I learned life is short from a really young age.
Yeah.
My brother died when I was 12. And so I was introduced to death really early in my life. And I just know how short life can be.
Yeah.
And I feel like I'm a little old soul in that way of just, always looking at the bigger picture. So,
Right.
I mean, not perfect at it, but, at the end of the day, my family's the most important, and material things come and go. So
they do. Yeah. And part of the small town values probably come into play there too. Just, how precious being present is, and time with those that you love, and all the material crap really isn't that important. And
sure.
What was your brother's name?
Cole. So Colden's named after him.
Okay. How cool is that?
Yeah.
And Colden's your oldest, right?
Yep.
And he's 8?
Yep. He's 8.
Okay. 3rd grade.
Yep.
And then Canyon is in
4.
He's 4.
Yeah.
Okay.
He's doing one more year of preschool.
And your kids are big.
They're huge.
They're like tall and they're buff and they're like freaky athletes.
Yes. Yeah.
That's
little men children.
I saw a post about like, they're so much bigger than the other kids.
Yes.
And that's awesome.
Yes, it is.
That kind of was like me. Mm-hmm. That's how I grew up. And it was probably unfair to everyone else because I was fully grown in like 7th, 8th grade. You know what I mean? And so certain things came a little easier and, people can catch up, but that's awesome. The other thing that I just kind of have an outline I want to kind of walk through and get to know you even better. You've had a lot of ups and downs, like we all have, and you've learned a lot about yourself. And you mentioned earlier that you had an eating disorder, and you mind elaborating a little bit about that? And I know it's a big thing, with women, and men have other issues too. That being one of them as well. But how did that start, and how old were you when it started?
I was young. I had family members that also did. So as a kid, you hear about it, and you sadly kind of want to be like them.
Right.
And it puts that idea in your head. And then, it came to almost like a control thing, especially when my brother died. That's when it really started. It was just something I could control. And then it didn't get really intense until I graduated high school and was dating a guy that wasn't the best situation.
Yeah.
And, it was just something that I could control.
Right.
I could control how thin I was and my appearance and things like that. So just, that OCD controlling personality. Yeah. Sadly just.
So how old were you when it all kind of started? But 12, 13?
12, 13, right around there. And then when I graduated is when it got really, really intense. And then
after high school. Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Yeah. And then I went into rehab, when I was 22. 22. Yep. Right,
well, it's amazing you're able and willing to talk about it, because I know that, teenage years are not easy. No. I'm not positive on this, but you look around in Utah and like we're known for all these beautiful people, right? Mm-hmm. All the, and it's also I'm not positive, but it may be one of the top states in the country for plastic surgery. Yes. Like it's unbelievable. It might be number 1. Yeah. And that's a whole other can of worms. But as a teenager, and I've got kids, I got a daughter that's 15 and she's a dancer and she goes to Corner Canyon and she, it's competitive there and it's a big school. And so there's a lot of wealth there and in other areas, and it's tough. And then you got social media. Oh, yeah. And it's an interesting world. It is. Yeah. A lot of people, I would imagine, are really struggling with their self-image, their confidence, and just trying to find out who they are. I mean, do you have any advice for people, the teenagers and people that, are out of high school even and trying to figure out? I've got a 19, 20-year-old too. And like, you can't get off social media I mean, every time you log in there, you see people getting married, and you're getting invites to all your friends. If you're like, there's this thing, if you're 25 and unmarried, like, what the heck's wrong with you here? Which is ridiculous, by the way.
It's crazy.
I don't like it. And it's not healthy for our environment and community, and for kids in general, and the pressure they have. Yeah. What advice do you have for people struggling with this? Because I know there's a lot of it.
Oh gosh, turn off social media.
Yeah.
I have to do that myself. I'm not the best at it, but I can't imagine, when I was in the thick of it, having social media to compare myself. But then just knowing your worth, and finding other outlets. I went into exercising and bodybuilding, and even though that can, be really restrictive on eating and stuff too, like just with my personality, I have to have things that, I can switch my mindset to, so just instead of having to be perfect, just try to be healthy, I think this world day and age is just a lot of quick fixes. Right. And it's so true. Because you can achieve the look that maybe some of these kids are after without eating food by eating healthy. Yeah. And you'd feel a lot more better about yourself. And then through working out, let's talk more about that. So when did you get the bug for health and fitness? Yeah. So, I was an athlete all in high school, played volleyball and softball and basketball, and then graduated, and that's when, obviously my eating disorder got really bad. And then I went into rehab, and then I got out in like March, and I think then I got engaged and then pregnant and had a baby. And then it was like, okay, I have a kid now. Right. I can't keep, living this lifestyle, because it was hard even then. And so right after I had my first Colden, my sister actually showed me someone on Instagram and that was coaching. And so went and started training with them. And then she was like, you should do a show. And I was like, okay. And then did my first show, and she was like, you qualified for nationals. I was like, let's go to nationals. And she was like, Cher, are you sure? I was like, yeah, let's go to nationals. Wow. So then I went to nationals, and then it's just been a passion of mine ever since. That's what I wish someone would have went back and told me, like, just exercise. And not only that, but for mental health reasons as well. I feel like so many people struggle with mental health, and just the dopamine and all that gives you. Benefits. Yeah. It's just amazing. And so that's my therapy. Right. So for somebody that has, when you're not eating enough, you probably don't feel that great, right? You might look the way you think you want, but you're just not, maybe a lot of energy and whatever. How do you take that step from, you just got to show up at a gym, right? Yeah. And just show up. Yeah. Yeah. And if you're there, you most likely will do something, right? Yeah, for sure. There's even so many at-home products now that you can do at home. Obviously with my husband traveling in my schedule now, I do a lot of at-home workouts. And so there's so many things that you can do, Yeah, we have we'll shout out Scotty Hobbs. Like we know him. You helped me sell a lot of his in Benloch. We'll get to, but he's got like 45 or 50,000 people that are working with him on his team as a Beachbody coach. Yeah. It's amazing. That guy, talk about an amazing guy that's just positive and has transformed his life, and what a great story that is. But so how it sounds like you're like me. When you decide to do something, you kind of do it. Yep. And there's nobody or nothing that can stop you. It's like, so those that love us, it's almost like putting blinders on a racehorse, you know what I mean? Like, oh no, here we go, Yep, exactly. So how long did this new passion, this healthy passion kind of last? And what does your day-to-day look like in balancing being a fitness pro, right? Yeah. To, the balance of just, are you going to continue to compete? I don't know. I go back and forth. I got my pro card, my IFBB Pro card, and then I haven't competed since. I had another kid, Canyon, so it's been a long time since I've competed. I go back and forth, but like we're saying, when I do something full, and so it's like a full-time job when I do it. Yeah. I measure food to the exact gram. Right. Like really, really crazy about it, which could be good or bad. But so right now I work out every morning. Well, try to. Nowadays, as long as I can get 4 days, 5 days a weekend, I'm good. I work out with a trainer. Okay. What gym do you work out at? So I just have a gym in my downstairs, and then my
Nice.
trainer has a gym at Ormer Provo that I go to with him. So,
Very
and then
nice.
Hotworks. I've added in Hotworks, which I like a lot. Have
What's
you heard of them?
Hotworks?
So it's infrared saunas.
Oh, I've
that
heard
you
about
go
this.
inside and do workouts in.
Oh,
yeah,
wow.
I love it. So.
Well, I struggle a little bit with back pain, all the baseball twisting and turning, and so my legs will shift and different things, and so traveling doesn't help when I'm sleeping on some of these hard, firm beds versus a soft, nice one that I like at home. You know, so that's a challenge. But I was introduced to, while we were in Sacramento, had a little extra time on my hands, like a company called Float or something, where they have a cocoon that like opens with water and it's all full of the Epsom salt.
Yeah,
and
that's awesome.
I think I'm going to try that out. I hear it's really good.
Yeah,
you know?
that's awesome. I've seen those.
So that's freaking awesome. Okay, so we're moving right down the list here. I mean, there's a lot about you that, you know, I'm sure you're complex and interesting, you know, and even though what I've noticed is you're pretty humble too. Like sometimes too humble. I'm like, you realize how good at this you are, right? You realize this, and that. And so I find myself trying to like give you little hints and tips and tricks on how to keep pushing yourself in certain things. But ultimately everyone has their own journey and stuff. So
for sure.
Would you consider yourself a pretty humble person?
I hope so. I hope I always stay humble.
We strive for that, right?
Yeah. I think just when you're not, life knocks you down and reminds you are.
Right. Well, that's something that I wouldn't say it's been a struggle, but, and I've talked about it in the past on this podcast, but the difference between staying humble and also really liking nice things that you like, that motivate you to work harder, and comfortable like homes or comfortable, safe cars that happen to be really fast too, or all these things. I mean, what's your opinion on how to find that balance?
For me, I mean, I love a good purse. That's probably what I spend my money on that's most expensive. But I like to buy time. I like to buy time with my kids, like Disneyland. We take a trip every year. So I feel like as long as I'm spending it on time, then I'm happy about it. Yeah, for sure. Obviously with our job, you need to drive a nice car, you know, and show that, you know, you're successful. No one wants to see you pull up in a beater and have you sell them $1 million house. But as long as I'm, you know, spending the most of my money on time and my kids, and that's not material things, that's taking them on trips every year, or, you know, just even staycations, that as long as I'm spending my money on time, I feel like I can keep a good balance on that.
Well, I'm in the vacation rental business where, you know, there was a post, you know, I travel a lot and mostly started with baseball and stuff. And now that I'm not traveling quite as much for baseball, I find myself looking to travel still, you know? And so it's like when somebody posted about or responded like, man, are you always on vacation? And I'm like, actually, I'm in the vacation business. And so it was kind of a funny spin.
I thought you were calling me the first time.
That was a funny story. Like out of the blue, one of my owners that owns our 5-unit complex in Moab, he calls me, and we don't talk much. He's a busy guy, very well-to-do, successful guy. And he calls out of the blue. He was surprised I picked up. Of course, I've got his name saved, and I'm like, you know, I respond to my owners very quickly. They're everything to me. And he's like, I want you to check out this place. You know, I bought a unit up here at this Benloch place. And of course, it's spelled Benloch, not CK. It can't be easy, right? You know, but and that was the very first time I've heard of Benloch. And that's a good portion of why we're here, is people are always asking me, like owners and potential like wannabe owners of vacation homes. And then you got people that are aspiring to be owners of just any kind of rental, long-term, and short-term's a different level, because to travel to a vacation home, it usually needs to be nice and in nicer areas, which means more price, more cost. he's like, check this place out. And, he said, Cherlyn is who I've been working with. And I'm going to send you your contact info. And if you wouldn't mind just kind of vetting the project and seeing if it would be a good spot to invest $1 million and, have it as a rental, because he bought this unit from another guy renting this 5-plex in Moab. And he was doing a good job with it, sold it, and my client bought it. And we were able to, just from what we do with the reservations, with the marketing and the infrastructure, and we've been in the business so long, 15 years, and we almost doubled his revenue. And it just, he was shocked about it. And so I think that's why he was, I think this is a good deal, but can you do what you did in Moab, here in Benloch? And so all of a sudden, I reached out to you, right? And then I got my best friend Ryan in the car, and we're heading up there. Yeah. Right before I was going to a trip to Cabo. Yeah. And it was kind of memorable because you were up there in the sales trailer or sales, whatever you want to call it, and the project was kind of still at its infant stages, right? Yep. It was in the middle of winter. I think it was February, March. And, wasn't a lot of marketing material left, but you had answers for every question that we had. And we got in some tractor. What is that thing?
A little side-by-side.
Side-by-side. A tractor. That's hello. A side-by-side. And we started going up the hill and looking at lots. And we had, we had this folder and we had a site plan and we had all the basic stuff. And then we got back to the sales trailer and we looked at the wall and we analyzed all the different lots. And this was phase 2, right? Because phase 1 was already sold out.
Well, no, we still had lots in phase 1, but we were sitting over in phase 2. The summits that Dean had you call on were sold out.
Okay. That's what I meant. Mm-hmm. And when I called you, it was funny because for some reason, we never talked before, but my name came up as Utah's best vacation rentals. Yeah. And you're like, oh no, did I forget to sign my contract? Because I'm like, what do you mean? Like, I'm renting with you. We're coming down this weekend to Paradise Village with Utah's best. And I'm like, oh my gosh, that's kind of a coincidence. No.
Yeah. And go down there quite a bit.
Come to find out, you love St. George. Your family goes down. You love the warmth, and you're eventually going to own your own vacation rental in southern Utah.
You got to find me one, Brad.
I know. And
you had me a good one.
I did. And you know what? Back to the barriers for entry in vacation rentals. It's like a great deal right now. They're hard to find, right, as we know, but there's also limits of what we individually can do or should do, and one of kind of getting the ducks in a row for preparation for owning a rental or a vacation rental especially is the key. Yeah. Most people, you're in the business, like we'll talk a little bit more about that. Realtors, loan officers, there's all these hats that you have to wear to understand the whole process, right? Property management, cash projections, down payments, like payments, interest rates, what it takes, loan size limitations, the difference between a conventional conforming Fannie, Freddie loan that only goes up to this amount, in which county. So it's fairly complex, but the minute you jump into jumbo, the rate just goes kind of crazy. Yep. And then rates have already almost doubled. And so right now, I've got a lot of people that have long-term rentals that are wanting to convert them into short-term rentals. I was just talking to a guy about that the other day, and he's like, hey, let me pick your brain on this. And I'm like, okay, before we meet, because he wanted to meet for an hour or two. I'm like, this is one of the reasons I did the podcast, because I have all this information, but limited amounts of time or patience, really, because I'm just been doing it so long, and it's just, I want to help other people avoid the pitfalls and have a good experience through all the knowledge. But man, it's hard because there's so many that don't have a clue on any of these things, let alone. And so I always try and, but that's not for me and where I'm at. I got boys coming up and they all want to learn, you know, every aspect of real estate, right?
Yeah.
Home flipping. They've been working in the furniture and design. They've helped with flipping. My oldest son, we co-sign on a house with him. And so he understands home ownership a little better. And they see the property management, is it long-term, short-term, and all these different avenues and options. But it's not an easy market for real estate right now.
No.
I wanted to kind of back up for a minute and just finish like your journey in how you went from hair stylist to professional health and fitness to like, how did you get in real estate? Like, do you remember who inspired you or what?
Yep, and I still thank her daily. So it's my cousin, Lindsay, and she's actually an agent at Benloch as well.
No kidding.
Yeah. So I was doing her hair. Yep. And she was doing real estate. And just, you know, when you're a hairdresser, you're also a counselor. So
there's a lot going on in there, I've noticed.
Yep. They tell you everything going on. And so she would just kind of tell me what she was doing and, you know, the kind of money she was making, obviously, you know, kind of perks your ears up.
Yeah.
And so one day I was just like, I can do this. Like I could do it. And so Jansen says he still remembers the day I came home and was like, I'm going to do this and I'm going to be successful.
Oh, what was his first thought?
He knew I would.
I'm like, oh, here we go. Okay. What is this going to entail? Right.
Yep. So I went to Stringham and got the book and I had my license within a month. We were actually living with Jansen's parents at the time and he would work all day and he would get home and I would go study at Starbucks till they closed and then I'd go to IHOP and I would study till like 3 a.m. and because you have to listen, you know, you can't speed it up. You have the hours you have to do. So I had it done within a month. I had taken it past my
You realize how rare that is, right? Like a month is, the reason I know is because I get the goosebumps because we've got a lot in common. Like I got mine done in a month and mine was inspired by my brother who just moved back from Vegas and his name's Jeremy and he also passed. Okay. And he was, I think 33 or 4 then. It was in 2007. And he's the one that inspired me to go from a mortgage. I was only doing mortgage and I had bought a few properties and liked that, but he said, we got a real estate license. I'm like, what are you talking about? I'm just started my new mortgage brokerage. Me and Melissa we're just kind of struggling to figure it all out and pay the bills, and rates were 8%. And I'm like, anyway, we went full time at Stringham we got it done in 30 days.
Did you have to go in?
We had to go in.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, we had to go in. I guess that dates me a little bit. Back when Marty was there teaching too.
Oh, yeah, the videos.
And so like we moved in next to Stringham thinking, let's grow our real estate brokerage, you know, and we've been to one open house and realized that, holy cow, these guys got it dialed in.
Yeah.
And so when you graduated, which, you know, isn't easy to do in 30 days. I mean, it's a tough, and it's now like 120 hours, not 90 like it was when I did it. And I'm a broker now. And I think back then it was 120 to be a broker. But how did you decide where to land? Like, it's a tough decision. I want to get my real estate license is one thing, but now you've got to actually join a team that you believe in that's actually going to help you get where you know you're going to be.
Yeah.
And it's a big decision. A lot of people screw it up.
Yeah, I had a lot of ups and downs in the beginning, for sure.
So how do we help other people, like my nephew, Mason, who is just getting his license? He just got it. Like, now it's got to sign up to the board, got to pay the MLS, and here's $1,500 here. And how do you, like, getting your license and then making money, they're two different things, right?
Yeah. I think you just definitely have to find your lane in real estate. There's so many different lanes, and I had a lot of ups and downs. I was on my own for a while with Coldwell Banker. I was at the brokerage out of Eden even. You know,
so did you start with the name with Coldwell?
No, I started, so we were building a house, and so with Century Homes, and they had a program where the realtor came in and would sell your house for free, and then he made the commission on the home you're building with Century. So I was like, oh, that's good. So I started with him, and then just wasn't really, you know, my lane. And then Lindsay was on a team at Coldwell Banker, so went over there and tried to do that for a little while. Did all their training and things like that. Wasn't my lane. And then I was like, you know what, I want to do new construction. And it's not easy getting hired in new construction. So I went to a couple different places and got told no. And then
because you didn't have a lot of experience, you had not a lot of data that supported closings and past success. They're thinking, hey, you may have the passion, but you failed to this point.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah. And it's just, we don't want to babysit a new agent too. You know, I'd only had my license for a year.
It is tough as a broker. Like, I honestly don't want to find myself not wanting new agents because you don't know what the loyalty is going to be. You're going to teach them everything, the special sauce on how to make money, plus have to train them on all. And it takes about 5 transactions, in my opinion, for you to fully, as an agent, fully have a decent understanding
for sure
of everything in general.
For sure. Especially in new construction, so for a builder.
Right. So you got told twice.
Yeah.
But you didn't stop. When did you find out new construction was your thing, your lane?
I didn't even know if it was my lane yet. I just knew I wanted to do it and try it. So my sister had built a home with Perry Homes down in Vineyard. Okay. And so I knew I needed an in. And so my brother-in-law was like, Trent Perry, I have his number. So Trent actually is on the lending side. He's not even in the new construction side. But I just kept bugging Trent, bugging him.
He's such a great guy.
He is. He's the best. And then finally he was like, oh yeah, let me give you, I think he finally was like, okay, this girl's serious. Because he kept being like, I'll tell him. And then he was like, let me give you Tyler's number. And so, which is actually his brother. Yeah. And so then I started emailing Tyler.
Both of which are baseball players.
Yep.
Trent played at UVU and Tyler played at BYU.
Oh, I didn't
Switch hitter, played some minor league ball too.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, shortstop. Trent was the first baseman.
That's awesome.
Anyway.
Both great guys.
Yeah.
So then I finally got the opportunity to go in and interview, which, funny enough, I'd put in for Arrive Homes as well, and went and interviewed at Arrive and with Perry.
Right.
So funny enough, after being told, no 2 or 3 times, I can't remember.
The 2 yeses
both offered me jobs.
Isn't that?
Yeah.
Why do you think that is? And even in real estate, a home can sit for a month. And all of a sudden, someone's interested, and they don't know another person's interested, and they just both.
Yeah.
Why?
I think it was my mindset. I got told no so many times, and so I finally was like, okay, I just need to be upfront and be like, I have 0 experience. I understand that. I will outwork anyone here, and I will prove to you that I'm supposed to be here. And I said that to Tyler, and I said that at Arrive. Arrive was not the best interview, even still too. I was super nervous on that one, but then Perry's after and I was more confident. But I told them both the same thing and got offered both the jobs, and then just decided to go with Perry. So
wow. And so remember what year that was?
Oh gosh. I was with Perry for almost 4 years.
Okay. And when did you get your license? You remember what year that was?
Gosh,
it's hard. I'm not very good with dates either.
Oh gosh, I'd have to.
I think I got mine in 2021.
Yeah.
And anyway, it's
2021.
No, sorry. Thank you for 2001.
01. Okay.
Yeah.
Okay,
yeah.
Yeah. Gosh, I don't know. I'd have to go back and look. Probably 2019. No.
So you've been a realtor for
5 years.
5 years. Okay. And you worked for Perry for 4.
Almost 4. It was 3.5. So I guess I should.
And that's my buddy, Mr. Dyer, right? Isn't he a great guy
Brandon,
too?
Brandon, yep. I interviewed with Brandon and Tyler when I went in. Great people.
Brandon is an amazing basketball player.
Oh, I didn't.
Yeah,
I thought he was into baseball.
I used to play with him. Yeah, he plays all sports. He's one of these freaky athletic guys that. Anyway, we used to play basketball every Tuesday.
Oh, and awesome.
The guy would just dice me up, I tried to block him thinking I could spin it and do all these weird things. And so anyway, so you basically joined one of, the most reputable builders and they're statewide and got to kind of join a team of some pretty amazing people.
Yes, I did. Awesome.
And learn all kinds of stuff.
Learned a lot.
And you probably knowing them probably sold a lot of homes because they build a good product and they have a good value, right? And they get things moving along and they get things done. And so for 4 years. Like, how many homes do you feel like you sold there, if you were to guess?
Gosh, I should have wrote some numbers down.
No, I didn't. You know, I like kind of, winging it here.
I don't know.
Is it like hundreds?
Well, Perry doesn't also too like to outbuild more than they can do.
Yeah.
So they don't like to build a certain
Right.
number of homes. So I think on average I sold 25 homes a year, something
Perfect.
like that.
Yeah.
And that. But
And were you involved in floor plans and planning, like any of the beginning infrastructure and marketing of the communities they were in?
Yep. Yeah, for sure. Well, not in the infrastructure, no, but I have a background in that because my brother owns an excavation company and my cousin did. So I was the secretary for them. So I know.
That really helps a lot in what you are doing now.
Mm-hmm, for sure.
So essentially, you join a winning team, you sell a bunch of homes, you learn a bunch about a lot, construction, building, success, and then what happened? Like, when did Benloch come on your plate, and how did that happen?
Yeah. So, well, I should say too, in Perry, what was nice is they also let me do outside sales. So I also got to do all my outside sales aside of selling, Perry homes, which was nice. So definitely just,
because you have those family members and friends that come off, and man, that's smart.
Yeah. Or even if, Perry didn't have something to offer, it was nice that you could go sell them something else. But so Benloch, I know Augie, Gove. I don't know if you met him yet.
I saw him at the open house or the groundbreaking, but I didn't get to meet him in person.
Yeah.
Seems like a great guy.
He is. So good family friend of ours, Jansen and I. And he came and was like, I'm putting a team together for Benloch. I want you to come. And so I was still at Perry. And so I went and interviewed with him and Mike Brenny, and it just wasn't a good fit at the time.
So Mike was already on with Augie. He's been a part of the project.
So Mike is part of Benloch, yeah. Augie was building the sales team for Benloch. But it just wasn't a good fit at the time. So I said no, actually.
Doesn't it feel good to say no sometimes?
It does, yeah.
Like, when had you said no to that point before?
Oh, I don't know.
But you said no, and they're probably like, "What? This is in their mind. This project's going to be the biggest thing ever, right?"
Yeah, for sure. Yeah.
So then, what happened?
So went back to Perry, stayed at Perry, and then some life changes, were happening. My nanny at the time was having a baby, and so some life changes because at Perry you set the model 5 days a week,
right?
For 6 hours, 7 hours at a time. So just some life changes, and I was like, okay, I think it's time to make a shift in my career and be home a little bit more with my kids and have that. And so, was actually going to go just sell for a builder. It wasn't even Benloch at the time that I left for. It was another builder, just in Utah County. And then Augie came back and was like, hey, come back to Benloch. And so
persistent.
Yep. So then came back to Benloch, and it's just all been downhill from there. I'm so glad. Yeah. It all just lined up perfectly.
And so did it feel like a big risk or a big leap of faith when you jumped on the Benloch?
Yeah. I felt really comfortable at Perry. I felt really comfortable, and it's hard when, you're making good money and you're comfortable and comfort to take a leap, but no one that's successful stays, in one place. That's not how you get
Looking
success.
back, was it like kind of risky?
Yeah. I think back now and I'm like, gosh, geez, it
could have gone so many different ways, right?
Yeah. Yeah.
Well, and I think that, they probably saw that you could bring a lot to the project.
Yeah.
And so how did you become the sales manager of this amazing team that you've helped assemble?
Yeah. Well, they were already there, minus Lindsay. So I think I just kind of got put into that role because Augie wanted to be more hands off. And, I had the new construction experience. Right. So he was just kind of like, do it, Cher.
Yeah.
And I like to be in control,
Where's that come from? Like,
I don't know.
It's just... Some people
bossy,
are just, it's a part of their just innate personalities that we're born with. You know what I mean?
For sure.
Astrology or this or that. And sometimes life experiences can kind of hone those in and stuff. But that's awesome.
We have a great team though. I mean, they don't need much bossing around or controlling. We all kind of do our own thing. And that's really helpful.
Well, we've talked about a lot. I think the thing we can kind of dive into now is Benloch. and did you help create that?
No, that EV put that together.
Okay. You probably have helped create a lot of different things though, right?
Yep, for sure.
Like what kinds of stuff have you had a say or an influence in with Benloch in general? I mean, it seems like a great team. They're listening to everybody, but they're also, are experienced and know kind of how to do things. But
yeah, for sure.
You've probably had a lot of influence in this awesome community, haven't you?
Yeah, I would say so. I mean, Jamie's definitely the mastermind behind all the architect and things like that. He loves that and just the idea. But I think just me knowing, how to sell and how to reach people and how
presentation and the marketing and pricing and sense urgency and different things like that. You guys seem to be good at phases and it's a big project. So a little bit about Benloch Ranch from my perspective is, and you can see the project at benlochranch.com, and it's spelled with a CH. It's right by Victory Ranch. And a lot of people may or may not have heard of Victory Ranch. It's important to me because it was kind of a spinoff of Promontory. And see, Promontory, I love Promontory. And we don't need to sound like a broken record. You've heard the story a couple times, but I lost over $1 million on that mountain, on 5 different lots. And a few of them I had partners on. And we're all big boys. And when we decide to partner or do anything, like it's, no one should ever enter any kind of a partnership just trusting anybody. You need to do your due diligence. You need to feel good about it. And then you need to own that decision. Yep. I mean, that's not normally the way it goes, but ultimately, we bought in right before the market tanked in 2008. Okay. I was the second top salesman as a real estate agent, right? Amazing. Or broker. And I got a trophy and it was pretty cool. And I ended up buying 3 lots of my own and partnered on 2 others, right? And I bought a membership to the Pete Dye golf course, which I've played many times. And anyway, I have this, it's such a beautiful community, and it got forced into involuntary bankruptcy by one of the banks. I think it was Wells Fargo. And I don't think the developer wanted to have that happen. Anyway, big projects sometimes are a challenge, and the developer bought it back for a fraction of the money, and then had all these land, like lots and lands and parcels that he was able to sell for much less, and he's made a killing, right? And so it was a good experience. It sucks to lose money, especially a lot of money, and something that I really genuinely wanted to build a house in this community because it's the closest luxury community to Salt Lake, and it's got these golf courses. They had the equestrian all done. They did something different than Benloch, where they built all of these amenities first. And so it was kind of like brilliant in a way, because you can't help but get emotional, especially when I was catching like these monster trout, for sure. in this pond. And so what I like about Benloch is, 1, it's not the first to the game. 2, it's the only community in that area. Okay. And Benloch's right next to Victory Ranch, and Victory Ranch and Promontory are 2 of the most luxurious, highest priced luxury second home communities in or around Park City. Yep. And, but they don't have the nightly rental zoning. Yep. And Benloch's the only one that I know of that really does. I mean, there's a few communities close to the new Mayflower ski resort that, have you been surprised how many people don't even know that's coming?
Mayflower?
Like I was that guy.
Yeah.
When I got up to Benloch, I think you were the one that told me that for the first time. Oh, by the way, one of the largest new ski resorts in the past 30 years is launching in 2023, right on the backside of Deer Valley, right off the freeway right there, right in between Park City, right across from Jordanelle Marina, right by like Camas and Heber, and get in and out. And so you're not fully like congested in this Park City nightmare sometimes, right? Yep. And I'm not a huge skier, but I I understand the value that it brings. My whole business for 15 years has been accommodating skiers that come from all over the world.
Right.
And new resorts, new ski, like all this is really good. So anyway, Benloch is going to be modeled, and has been modeled after these luxury communities like Victory Ranch and Promontory in a lot of ways. It's going to have I'm giving you a break here because you literally have told this story. How many times do you think?
No, you're good.
Like
every day.
Thousands?
Yeah.
So fill in wherever I'm missing. Okay. Yeah. But the reason I decided to buy in Benloch, and the reason that I also felt compelled to talk to other clients and homeowners that have been with me in our vacation rental pool for years, was it's really close to everything, and Park City's a big draw, but then you've got Camas over here, Heber over here, everything, the Uintas, you've got everything right there. So it really is a year-round destination.
Yeah.
And the price per foot is, to build on all of the plans that you guys have put together, is a lot less.
Yep.
Like significantly less than Victory Ranch, which is literally 2 minutes from the front entrance. And I think this is actually a better location because it's a little closer to everything.
I'm biased, but I agree.
Yeah. And so I did a comp search on Victory Ranch today. I was going to print it, but I had some complications. But I couldn't believe what a 3,300 square foot home active right now is going for. Do you have any idea?
Is that 3.5, 4 million?
Yeah, 4.3 mil. Yeah.
That's crazy.
And, I comped out like the floor plan that we were planning on building on our lot, like in 3,000 feet, 5-bed, 5.5 bath, right? And it was comping. If you kept all the bigger homes in there, it was like 5.5 million, right? If you just took out the big, and by the way, they also fractionalize ownership. You can buy a 1/8, 2,100 square foot cabin in Victory Ranch, 2 miles away, for $545,000 for 1/8. Okay, so that's like almost $5 million, and that's what they're needing to do because they want to make it probably a little more affordable, right? Well, the difference between Benloch and Victory Ranch and a Promontory is Benloch is brand new. Okay, it's at its infant stages. And I was one of the co-founders of Paradise Village and have been involved in other newer communities, vacation rental zone communities. And so for me, when I like to buy in communities that I manage, but this has the zoning, and I felt like the value was pretty significant if everything kind of comes together like it's appearing to come together. Still a lot of challenges ahead, right? But what a discount for, I can go buy a $4.5 million, 3,000 square foot home right now in Victory Ranch, or I can buy a 3,000 square foot home like the Canyon or the Nordic, right? 5 beds, 5.5 baths, gorgeous, like contemporary look and feel, big windows with capturing all the views. Not a lot of views of the lake, and Victory Ranch has some views looking up to Deer Valley with the lake and stuff. There are some lots, right, that have views, but ultimately, the price per foot is like $450, $400, $450, $500 versus over $1,000 a foot.
Yeah.
What's that, like $1,500 a foot?
Yeah.
And so I feel like the price points are reasonable for the risk of and the time and the challenges of new construction.
Yeah. Oh, for sure.
What other amenities are coming? And I talked a lot there. I'm way past my word count.
No, you're good.
I'm passionate about it.
Yes.
What other amenities are coming to Benloch that you feel like really makes it kind of special?
Yeah, so our lodge is going to be amazing. I think that's another big thing that sets us apart from these other communities is we'll have just as many as amenities as these other communities, but also, you know, our membership fees are substantially lower as well as our price per square foot. But we'll have the amazing lodge, which will have bar, restaurant, spa, restaurant. Then you have your pools, your hot tubs, pickleball, bocce ball, basketball. And then the thing I love also is we have these 4 large ponds that are naturally filled from a spring up there. So those will have the sandy beaches around, so you can paddleboard and canoe in those in the summer. And it's just amazing. It's just an amazing development.
Now, is there 2 ponds now that you can see from like my lot? Or is there 3?
Yep,
one of them's down by the entrance, like bridge?
And then they just go up.
Okay.
Yep.
Wow.
Yep.
Well, there's how many phases in this project?
13 phases.
And we're on to what phase now? Like, you've been selling for is this the second phase that you're selling, or the third?
Yep. So phase 2 is just getting ready to launch.
Okay.
And actually all of phase 2 has views of Deer Valley and the majority of the views of the Jordanelle. So those ones are where you're going to get those views of the Jordanelle. Phase 1 kind of sits back in there in the mountains, so you get more of the mountain views.
I've already got my clients. Like, you've helped me so much. Like this Cabo story was pretty cool because I knew I wanted to buy, but then I got pretty excited about it. And I always have owners that, hey, because they kind of watch what I do, and I've done pretty well being on the front end with good projects. And there's always risk involved, but these are accredited investors and high net worth people. And I called 7 people, maybe 8. I think I called 8. One of them backed out.
Yeah.
But the 7 others that I called all bought.
Yeah.
And I was in Cabo, and because of
I was
you,
in Paradise Village,
and I was sending you photos, and just like, okay, can you help me with this, because this lot and that lot and this it was insane. I'm sitting by the pool, and you were totally like plowing all of this help for me, and we ended up putting like 7 people under contract, like on that weekend.
Yeah. Yep.
And you wrote all the contracts. Like, I guess you're just used to doing that. And
it's the control thing.
Well, I tell you what, if you're good at writing them, you're fast, you're efficient, and then you send them out for signatures, and then you're texting, hey, back and forth, all these different chains between me, just working out the details, making sure the contract's right. And then a chain with my clients, and you have a high level of integrity too, because some agents kind of get that screwed up. They can get it mixed up where there's never been an issue where I've had worried about, if my client goes up to Benloch and runs into, Cherlyn, like, what's going to happen? Like it always, if it is my client, we know that, and it always works out. Yep. And that's rare. And so I think that's a key element here, but everyone's excited. All my clients are excited about it.
Yeah.
In fact, Craig just said, this second phase with these views, I think I might need to maybe build this house over there too.
Perfect.
And
hey, so I'm like, Craig over.
Let's get Craig signed up.
Yeah, let's do it.
But he's just getting ready. So this was back in February, March, and I think we closed on all 6 or 7 of these lots in the last 2 months, right? Mm-hmm. And Craig's the first of the group, along with my other lot that's getting ready to be submitted to architectural committee. And I was looking at Promontory's fees for that, like to review your plans and the list of requirements. I think that's even longer. It's $1 a foot. So the floor plan that we're submitting, that's $5,000, if that's what Craig's building, like that's $5,500. Yeah. So it is a lot of work to review, and it's a big process, but you guys have got it all figured out for everybody. It's really turnkey, right?
Yeah.
Maybe you can talk a little bit more about all the floor plans and any of those things that are already turnkey for people.
Yeah. So building with us, I mean, some of your clients, you guys are building on your own because you have something specific. But building with us, we have our floor plans. We don't do any structural changes. We have 2 interior option packages you can interchoose between, and then an upgrade of like 10 to 12 items for each floor plan. So it's really nice for these investors who are coming in that have so much going on. They don't want to be so hands-on, that they can just do that, have their home still, be specific to them, but not have to be so hands-on and get this amazing product. And everyone who's under contract has equity in their home. Yeah. Clearly, like we've been talking about. And so it's just,
I mean, it's a lot of equity too. Like their very first 50 homes in the Summit started at what, 800-900?
Yeah.
And people that buy into these things like to see prices going up, right?
Yep.
And there's incentive to getting involved earlier, and there's a little more risk because you can't see all the amazing improvements and the lots and all the utilities that are now in, and these ponds that are filled, and on my lot or whatever, you can look down and see them and visualize a paddleboard, you know?
Yep.
And they sold for what, 800, 900?
Yeah, some of them are high 800s, 900. I think the most expensive one we sold was about 1.2, and you know they can turn around and sell those for 1.5, 1.6.
I'm kind of kicking myself because you one fell out for one day, and you called me, and I'm like, get me in there. Yep. And I wasn't ready, and I'm normally ready. Like when deals happen, you got to get yourself in a position to strike, and when the time's right, and I kind of missed that, but you know, you make the best of it. And so we bought in is it the second phase of phase one?
SFR, so we call them the summits and the single family. So
okay, well, when do you feel like when's the first 50 going to be built, if you were to guess?
We're just waiting on the city right now. Okay. It's Wasatch County, you know, good old country boys, so they're kind of
dragging their feet a little bit.
Well, kind of having some pushback with this and new development. So as soon as we get those out, then those foundations will be laid and those will go up really quick. So we're just waiting on the city.
Probably already have. I mean, Tricor's the builder, right?
Yep, Tricor's the builder.
They seem like a great outfit.
Yep, they're ready to go. Materials have been ordered. They're ready to go.
Jeez, how awesome. And then, I think Scotty Hobbs is getting built like starting December or something.
Yeah.
And he'll be 1st in his house probably by when? Like March, April?
9-10 month build time. So yeah.
Okay. You know, maybe the summer or something right before. Wow. Well, is there anything else that, you feel like is special about Benloch that, anyone looking that has the money or access to it, or a partner or a family member? There's a lot of 1031 money out there. There's a lot of people that, just have a lot more money than seems like there's been available in the past.
For sure.
It's a lot of money. Like the average, at the end of the day, if you build any one of your houses, you can be between, depending on when you got involved and what you paid for the lot, you can be 1.6 to 2.5, somewhere in that range, 2.8, I think you had. Yep. And that depends on how big the home is and, how nice it is. But a lot of questions like on vacation rental cash flow and rental projections. And, there's 35 to 40 different property managers in Park City, and I've been studying them and seeing what they're offering and what their splits are and every one of them will come in and give you a different rental projection. Yeah. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And how do you know who to go with? That's a tough one, right? And I think relationships are important. I think knowing that, that you can talk to the owner, at any time if the staff is not taking care of things, or, and people that have been in business a long enough time have seen the down and the ups and downturns and people that can show proven track record is going to be kind of the key. And I think a project like this will take a little bit of time. Like Paradise Village, we were able to start charging more when Harmon's came in, and then the water park came in finally, and so as these amenities are launched, there's that ramp up period. But I feel like the best part about Benloch is if you have the means, and one, I want to actually use my second home up here from time to time.
Yep.
So nice up there, geez, but. It'll just continue to go up in rentability, and as this project comes on, it'll just keep doing better and better.
Oh, for sure.
And for you and for us realtors, like you've gotten to know a lot of real estate colleagues, right? Through this. Yep. Some of them have been selling multiple lots and doing things that are kind of cool, but they're with 13 phases. It seems like there's going to be enough business for all of us, and if everything goes well, for years to come.
Yep.
How long do you think we have of the fruits here of our labors?
Gosh, I'd say 10 years.
10 years, yeah.
Probably
Man.
more. Just depends.
Well, are you loving what you do?
I do. I love what I do, for sure. So fun. You meet awesome people like you.
Oh, thanks.
Just get to meet so many cool clients and get to know them. They become like family. So I love it. It's never the same.
What's the future hold for you, Cher? I mean, what are your goals or plans? Like, thought through all that?
Yeah, for sure.
That's good.
I just want to keep being a better version of myself and raise my kids to make the world better.
Right.
You know, that's where it starts with at home, and sell real estate and invest in real estate. I wish I would have started investing in real estate a long time ago. I see it all the time that real estate's the number one thing you should invest in. And I love real estate. I love everything about it. And just want to keep growing.
Well, and you're, you've had some success in selling properties and stuff, and you're looking for different investments. Like, for somebody who's in the middle of making a career and a name for themselves and finding that niche that you're well on your way for, like, what advice can you give somebody that's sitting on 100, 200 grand trying to figure out what to do with it in real estate right now?
Got to wear a lot of hats.
Yeah.
Watch every, like you said, you have to look at the interest rates. You have to do it. But just kind of like you said, if you have the knowledge, don't hold back, and you got to go when you see the opportunity. So. Well,
and so many people, they start shopping. They're like, call realtors like us. Hey, we want to go look at houses. And it's like, well, a lot of new realtors, okay, no problem. They just hope for the best and just take a whole day or two away from their family and show them, pay gas and mileage, and they'll just go take them all over the place. Well, it's a tough balance as a realtor, because you definitely don't want to have a fear thought, but you also want to pre-qualify your buyers, right? And even if you are the buyer, like like you've been in the past, I want to get my ducks in a row. I want to know what I can afford if it doesn't rent for a month, right? Or worst case scenario, am I in a good place where I can cover this? And it can be a little stressful, but it's well worth it.
For sure.
Geez, well, any other thoughts that you have, like, about any of Benloch or life in general that you feel like talking about?
No, come see Benloch if you haven't been up there.
You're there how often now?
Right now we're appointment by only, just waiting for our new sales center to get set up. But I'm there quite a bit.
You were, let's see, you were just up there with Scotty, right? Touring the lot and stuff. Yep. And my gosh, how exciting.
It is.
Well, the good thing about working with either one of us is that we're pretty knowledgeable, pretty experienced, and we can answer pretty much any question between the two of us that might come up with Benloch or any other real vacation rental type of a property in Utah. And so, we're here to help people that have the ability to, and the risk tolerance to do anything like this, especially, even owning a second home up there. There's a lot of people that are just buying from all over the country, like New York, California. Are those kind of the two biggest that you've seen? Texas?
Florida. Yeah.
Florida.
Yep.
And they just want to own a beautiful home, buy Park City in the middle of this gorgeous God's country. Wow.
Yep.
This is exciting.
A much lower cost.
A much lower. And
I say that lightly because it's not cheap, but for the surrounding area.
Well, when for other people that are looking for opportunities, there's always fallout in any community where contracts, whatever life change circumstance. Are there available lots right now in this SFR zone? Yep.
We currently have 14 lots left.
Okay.
And then, like I said, phase 2 is coming on in the fall.
In the fall. What's the least amount to get into Benloch on any one of these 14 lots right now?
1.6. But then you can also buy the land and bring in your own builder.
Okay. Or you can buy even the land now, and can you designate that I want you to build it, I just can't right now?
Yeah, we can put that in the contract. He's trying to kind of shy away from that, not so long. But we have a lot of great preferred builders that also, are fixed pricing.
Okay.
And also even carry the construction loans. So.
Wow. Yeah, and you know what? You've been really helpful with these resources on the financing and the builders and all the different resources that you could have. And so, anyway, I'm really glad that you came on.
Yeah,
and
thanks for having me.
Excited for all of the phases in the next 10 years to hopefully we keep working together and we feel like we're in a good rhythm and know how each other works and can kind of set the table to try and get some of these deals to bring them together for our clients, because I feel like this is a great project.
It is. It is.
Well, thanks for joining us, Cher.
Thanks for having me.
Okay. Well, another awesome episode of Swing'it With Winget. So over and out. Today's podcast was brought to you by Utah's Best Vacation Rentals. Whether you're looking for a 3-bedroom townhome or a mansion with an indoor pool, Utah's Best has a vacation home for every budget and occasion. To book your next incredible Utah vacation, go to utahsbestvacationrentals.com. Book direct and save.